Hi, I'm designer Jen Gallacher and welcome to my scrapbook space. Today I'm going to give you a little tour of my room so you can see a couple of things. One is the way that I use my actual scrapbooking products to decorate my space. So whether that is using stamps as a decorative element or using the pattern papers I have on hand to alter something that I've purchased, you'll see a little glimpse of things like that. Then I'm going to show you how I organize things. And my philosophy for organizational things is that I do not want to leave my desk. I want to be able to sit, or in your case if you stand, and not have to move. I want to be able to reach everything that I might possibly need for completing a layout or a project. So that means I keep things very close to my main desk. So I will show you the ins and outs of how I store things, and then we'll chat a little more at the end of the video. So first I wanted to start by panning around my scrapbook space so you could see the general setup of the room. And like I noted, I have a desk in the middle of the room, which is where I do the majority of my work, and everything that I use frequently is close to the desk. So the cabinet in black is from IKEA. The white cabinets are from Cropper Hopper and Crop & Style. The blackboard is from Pottery Barn. The main desk legs and drawers are from IKEA. And the desk chair is a Pottery Barn chair. In the background you can see the white shelving unit. That is for Making Memories. So I'm going to go ahead and take you through each of the drawers so you can see how I store the things that I use. And then I will try to answer any questions I think you might have as we go through the individual items. So here in this wall is an example of how I've decorated my office. I chose the accent color of green, and I used my Silhouette die cut machine to cut the "This is what life looks like" title, and I added some black and white photos. This particular item is a card spinner from Pottery Barn, and I ripped the covers off some vintage books and decorated them with punches, and this can be changed out as I see fit. I have some candles, and they're scented candles, and they are apple scented, so that when I walk in my room I'm greeted by a nice pleasant smell. You can see that I have incorporated stamps onto this antique shelf, and they're stamps that I like and speak to me, and I even have some twine and some photographs. A lot of these items appear in my videos or in my photography as they make great background or photo props. You'll notice that I have my Cricut machine that is stored underneath this vintage shelf, and when I use it I just pull it out. Let's go ahead and look at what I have stored below here in this Expedite shelf from IKEA. So also from IKEA are these brown boxes, and they're craft colored, and you can add labels to them. How I store my items is pretty loose based. I'm organized, but I keep things easy to find. Sometimes I will keep things in their packages, and sometimes I won't. These are die cut shapes, and there are 2 boxes full of different die cuts. And I just leaf through these and shop them almost as if I'm shopping a store. Larger, longer items are just tucked in here, and that way I can just grab one of these boxes and put it onto my desk, and then I can put it back when I'm done. I use a lot of Ziploc baggies to put similar items or smaller items together. If I have items that I don't regularly use, I may put them in a box for later use, such as this die cut folder, which is from Provo Craft, and it's a binder that holds embossing folders, some that I haven't even opened and used yet, as well as some shapes, and these are typically ones my children will use for crafting projects or just for fun. So I don't use these very often, so I keep the lid on these, whereas with the die cuts I don't keep the lid on because I use them more frequently. I store fabric that I love in this locker bin basket, and I have different colors. I put the colors that match my room in the front, so when I'm looking at it it's not distracting. You can see I have some from Echo Park, some chevron, different green tones, and these may appear on crafting projects or in my sewing projects. Down here below is where I store my brads and enamel dots. Some I keep in their packaging, and I actually keep the plastic packaging around it so that nothing falls out, and then other times I will remove the packaging and just store them as is. I do try to purge often so that I don't have items that I'm no longer using. In this box over here are my letter stickers,
And these are the letter stickers that are 6 by 13. And they're not stored in particular order. I just keep enough basic colors or hot trending colors that I can quickly leaf through them. And I do try and keep them in their packaging, and I will open the packaging, pull them out, and close the packaging again. Most of these are thickers from American Crafts, but there's several other manufacturers. Then down below I store my ribbon that has been cut, so my loose scraps in jars. And this is another locker bin. This is a vintage one, and you can find these at home decor stores. A lot of places are remaking those. So find fun storage options for your particular room. In here are stickers. Again, they're just loosely placed. Some are still in their packaging, some are not. And I just leaf through here and look for what I want. And then when I'm done, it's just easy to slide them right back in. They're not stored by season or color. It's simply the size that fits in here. I have larger stickers elsewhere. And then down below this particular box are stamps. And I have lots of background stamps and sentiment stamps. Some, again, I keep in packaging, while others I do not. And I just lay them on their side and I leaf through them. These are my clear acrylic as well as my cling. And I store my wooden stamps elsewhere, as I will show you. Then in this particular corner of my room, you can see a little vignette I've created. And I curate these designs throughout my space, and then when I need them for photography, I just pull them out. The bulletin board at the top was an old, ugly brass frame that I spray painted black, filled with burlap and foam, and now it's a pin board. Those letters are cut from vinyl. The black chalkboard is going to have a chalkboard quote. I just haven't decided which one I want. Or you could use this as an inspiration board. It changes from time to time depending on how I'm feeling. Now I store my cardstock close to my desk, and the colors I use less frequently because I tend to use whites and crafts for the background. I store loosely in colors here, and you can see there's some up top, and then the colors are just kind of all stuck inside here. Inside this cabinet, additional cardstock colors, and there are 8.5 by 11 and 12 by 12 papers in there as well. Again, you can add labels to this storage system. I have yet to do that. I kind of like it staying less busy. Up top in this drawer I have a lot of miscellaneous supplies. I have things like googly eyes for crafting. I have charms I've kept. I have bells for Christmas items. Some of the larger items, especially the newer items, I keep in their packaging. And that allows me to remember the manufacturers. When I'm doing a project for a magazine or another entity, I know exactly who has created the item that I'm using. So some I keep and some I open. In this drawer you'll see that I have a lot of items like glitter, different kinds of embossing powder, re-inkers, eyedroppers, my stamp cleaner. It's kind of a miscellaneous stamp and art drawer. Sprayers. So this one contains a lot of miscellaneous items. This is great for when I'm reaching in and grabbing things. I really love the American Crafts Zing embossing powder, so I keep those separate. I have a few different date stamps, some larger glitter. I do keep stamp pads in a couple of different places. These are my less used ones. I have a few paint daubers. This is a Stamp-A-Majig inside the box. I like to keep it in the box. Then down below is one way that I store my paper scraps. And I do divide the cardstock from the pattern paper, and then I have them color coordinated so that I can quickly leaf through and pull out a color and punch from it. I've also kept some of my older templates, and although with all the punches and die cuts there are, I do like to keep templates on hand. They're especially great for children's projects. In the back here I have some additional file folders hanging as well as tabbed so that I can continue to add to this particular storage system. And I believe in stocking up on things and then pulling them out when you're ready to use. Back here up at the top you'll notice that I have two die cut machines. They're placed directly behind my desk so that I can easily pull them over to my desk and die cut, or I can leave them in place and die cut them if I choose to stand. Now I have several different die cut shapes as I showed you in that folder, in that binder. These are my more regularly used ones. And I can just easily pull them out. I also keep the particular plates that I need to use close by. Because I die cut so frequently, I wanted them very close to my desk. This is my circle cutter. I have a few thesauruses and writing books for writing text for the companies I work with. I have a Martha Stewart scoring board, as well as some chipboard pieces that I'll use for photography. In this drawer below the die cutting system, you will see that I keep a lot of extra adhesives on hand. And I tend to buy them when they go on sale, and I will get sometimes a year's supply. I keep track of how much I use, and then I purchase extra supplies. That way in the middle of the night I'm not running out of any adhesive. This is the first of two ribbon drawers. I do have them by colors, as well as some additional things like old making memories tags. How I determine whether to keep something or not is if it is a standard item that can easily be reused, I will keep it. This is some washi tape I have. This is my more decorative tape. I use the more specific tapes, such as this train one, less often, so I don't keep it as close to my desk as others I'll show you later. I have smaller wood veneer shapes and plastic baggies, a really inexpensive option. And again, lots of ribbon. These are my more neutral types, or ones that I particularly love. I'll show you later where I store a ribbon that is used a little less often. And then below here I keep extra ink on hand and printer paper. I add them to my grocery store list regularly so that I'm not running out. It's no fun to be working on a project and suddenly run out of something. In here you will see my pattern paper scrap storage. Again, I store these by color, although I do have a miscellaneous drawer that has multicolored objects in there, different pattern papers. And then here's how I store my large 12 by 12 sticker sheets. I keep them in these file folders, and the only way I've divided them is one is alpha and one is element. I have just enough that I can easily leaf through, pull out what I need, use a sticker, and put it back. And you can see even after I've cut elements off, I still use the sticker sheet. Moving to this side of the drawers, you'll see that I have additional adhesive, just different types. Instead of shoving them all into one drawer, I keep them separate so that I can easily leaf through and find extra things. Again, I usually get about a year's supply, and I keep track of how much I'm using, so the next year when they have an end of the year sale or a special clearance sale, I can get what I need. This is my button drawer, and you can see that I do organize buttons by color. If I have more buttons than I have room for, I'll put them in baggies. These little clear boxes are from a storage unit you can get at Home Depot or Lowe's, and they come in a drawer system, and I pulled them out of the drawer system. You can use any kind of container that allows you to quickly leaf through and grab what you need. Sometimes I'll even pull these out and dump them out of my desk, and then I'll scoop them back in. Below my button drawer, I keep my Cricut and Silhouette mats, as well as my Cricut tool caddy. And that helps me cut. You can see there some of them are well used, and some, when they get to the point where they're well used, I'll only use them for certain projects, such as vellum, which is really sticky. I don't always use on a new mat because I want to be able to pull it away. Below is my pattern paper, and this I do by color. It is not divided by season, just by color. And I have it also organized such that I have a multicolored drawer. And then in the back, I have some collection kits that are still in their packaging, especially when I'm working with the manufacturer, that I can easily pull out and use again. I have a lot more pattern paper than is shown here. It's simply waiting to be color coordinated and reinserted into the drawers. So I purge about once a month, and I eliminate anything that's older than about 10 months to a year, and I share it with friends or I donate it to our local school. You can see my computer here. I do print my photos at home, and that is a Canon printer. It's an all-in-one machine that includes a fax machine as well as a scanner and printer. In this drawer, you will see that I have extra blades. I've even kept some decorative scissors. You just never know when you're going to need scissors, and these are especially good for children who maybe can't work with a border punch. I have some sanding blocks, an anywhere hole punch. I still have my paper crimper, but again, I truly believe in having extra supplies on hand as your scissors dull, that you have enough to keep working, that you don't have to stop. Again, my goal is to not leave my desk. I just want to spend my time being creative. Below that is my second ribbon drawer. I do have smaller spools as well as larger spools, and this was an insert that came with this particular drawer system, so that made storing the ribbon a lot easier. Below is my flower drawer. It includes small flowers, and then they're divided by sizes, and when I'm thinking of flowers I usually add a large, medium, and small, so that's why they're divided this way. I do have photo corners as well as the craft corners you see me use frequently. And sometimes I keep very old objects like magic mesh for projects I may use later. Below this drawer is my cardstock that I use most frequently. And this includes craft, white, and black, as well as a few different packages from when I worked for American Crafts. And the reason why they are located here is this is closest to my desk and I can easily get access to them whenever I need them. You can see above here that I have decorated again with some different objects, and I'll show you that. So I tend to look for vintage pieces that are unique that I can add to my room, and then I'll take scrapbook items like this tag, which I cut into a pennant, and then I die cut some shapes. I took that vintage mirror and I covered it with pattern paper and added a G and the date that I was married. To the right is my stamping box, and you'll notice that I selected a variety of stamps that fit my style and that looked pretty on the shelf, and I created little vignettes. Inside the drawers are my mist, and I don't have a lot of mist, so I don't need a bigger storage area. I just get the colors and finishes that I will use. These darker stamps are vintage letter stamps. Below here on my desk surface, I have a digital photo frame, the original silhouette machine, and my 2 cameras that I use to photograph. Again, keeping everything close by helps the process go faster. My husband built this corner unit, which includes a pull-out drawer with my keyboard. Below my silhouette is my junk office supplies, and this includes everything from my stapler to pens. Any office item I might need is included in this drawer. This particular set of drawers includes items I don't use as regularly but I want to keep close by. Here's my photo printer paper as well as some sheet protectors. These are transparencies for fun crafting projects and labels and a variety of different office supplies. Below this are stamps that I use less frequently but I'm not ready to get rid of. There's no reason to get rid of a stamp that you're going to use frequently. So anything that is almost generic in nature, such as letter stamps, I will keep permanently. Below this are additional stamps as well as my iTop system. So if I ever want to make an iTop with my Imagine S tool, I can. And then in this final drawer, you might get a giggle over some of the older products that I have kept. I have kept eyelets, I have kept wire, and I have even kept my chalk. Now, basic supplies like these I keep for my kids as well as the rare project on which I need them. Let's move over to my center desk. So here's the surface of my desk, and you can see that it is a nice natural wood tone, which I selected because it matched the stamps. The pad is from American Crafts. My sewing machine is a Singer machine, and I usually keep that on the floor and then pull it up when I'm ready to use it. One secret with sewing is that I change out the color of the thread on top, but I keep my bobbin white, and that allows me to sew multiple colors quickly without having to change the bobbin. This is a fun system from We Are Memory Keepers, and this is my more frequently used washi tape. And you can add to this spinner, and it does have a metal edged so that you can tear off your tape. I do have an OttLite in green. Behind that is my Making Memories turntable, and it includes lots of scissors, my more frequently used punches, twine, and lots of other items. Here are the stamping inks that I use most frequently. The ones I use that are neutral are at the top, and here on the bottom it's a spinner, and it includes my favorite Stampin' Up! Colors. Below the desk I have more drawers, and these are available with this IKEA desk system. These are the adhesives and the paper cutters, the foam bases that I use for paper piercing and stamping. These are at the ready. Then I have several drawers full of punches. These are my border punches, my corner punches, and I just place these in here. Then below that are miscellaneous punches, including some new ones. I always keep my favorites. The older punches I have that aren't used more frequently I store elsewhere. Again, these are my most frequently used. Circle punches, and I recommend getting them in a variety of sizes so that makes projects go more quickly. And then below that I have my pad for misting. I have additional punches as well as my embossing powder gun. So let me show you the other side of my room. So I do have a south-facing window which gives me a lot of natural light in this room, and this becomes especially handy when I am photographing a project, and this is my photography corner. You'll notice that I have a little children's table with a piece of wood placed on it, and then in the background here I have canvases that I've clothespin to some white board from Lowe's. I find the wooden pieces, they're old cabinet pieces or desktops from IKEA, and then I get the canvases on Etsy and I just order them. Next to the photography area is a box which is filled with all my photography props, and I will look for vintage items or cool items that I can use to photograph with. That makes the photography process work well, and you can see that it's close to the window, which gives it a lot of light for photography, and that is key when you're photographing your projects. Now I'm going to show you the embarrassing part of my room, which is my storage closet. Now again, my philosophy is to keep items close that you use more frequently. The items I use less frequently, such as pens, additional cardstock, ribbon, items that I want to alter for altered projects, cards, candy for treat bags, is stored away from my desk. There's no sense in placing it close by because it takes up space. These are items that I use maybe once or twice a month, or extra items that aren't ready to be moved yet. When I'm looking for an item, such as ribbon or cardstock, and I'm replenishing the area by my desk, I will refer to this closet, and I will take it out and move it back over to my desk. So that allows me to create quickly. Once again, here is a look at my scrapbooking space. Now that you've seen how I've stored everything, I hope you are thinking about how you can move things more close to your scrapbooking space.
Thank you for joining me for my scrapbooking room tour. Hopefully I've inspired you for ways that you can possibly redecorate or reorganize your supplies, or maybe your supplies are already working for you. I use this room to create videos like Memories Made, as well as other project videos, so be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel in case you've missed any of my project videos. If you have additional tips and tricks for me, I would love to hear them, so go ahead and leave them in the comments section of this video.